Okay, now we're recording, so this won't be for in vain. I love your sweatshirt, Chloe.
I don't know how I feel about it. I got it for free. Like I did like those $40 mystery boxes. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Through who was it, like Mud Pie something? Anyways, you put your size in and they send stuff, but it's just a little strange. But it's all right.
It's all good. I like it. It looks cozy.
It says the gift that keeps on giving. I'm like, I don't know how I feel. Like it's good, but it's also like kind of like weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like I know, I went to UNCP, so they used to say things like that. So
yeah. Anyways.
Okay, good. There's questions that are popping on here, and we will definitely talk about those towards the end. So I wanted you guys to realize that the whole reason why I did this was because I have noticed within my team that coaching is just either not consistent or they're just not really sure how to do it. And this is just something that I know is uncomfortable for a lot of people because, especially within this day and age, my team knows, like, if you call me randomly, your girl ain't going to answer because, I mean, I just have too much going on within my personal life and my personal business. So if you want to chat with me, set up a coaching call and we can chat. And I feel like that's where a lot of the disconnect is. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is what it is and what it isn't. And I wanted to start off with what it isn't first. And the first thing I want to say about what it isn't is we are not these people's bosses. We're not. We are their mentor. And you can't want it enough for someone who doesn't want it. And so often I've seen some leaders get really frustrated because they're like, I know this girl could be a freaking rock star, but she's just not willing to put in the work, or she just makes excuses. And guys, like, there is nothing that you can say or you can do for someone who's not willing to put in the work, even if you know that they could be great. Because a lot of times people are going through things. I know Chloe and myself both are going through things that people don't have any idea about, and they just may not be ready to go all in. Because some people will put their head down and get to work when they have personal things going on, and some people will shut down, and you can't make them be the way that you want them to be. So just remember that even if you see someone that could potentially be a boss, love them through it, be there for them when they're ready, but you can't want it enough for them, because if you continue to push what you want on them, they may quit or shut down because it's not what they want. You can, just like we've talked before about, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And just remember that. What a coaching call also isn't, and this is one of the questions that someone asked, it's not listening to someone's excuses about why they can't work their business, and it's not listening to them about their family drama. And I know that that's something that a lot of people have struggled with. And I'll say that one way that I feel like is a way to, like, avoid that in general is have the coaching form, because that coaching form is going to keep you so, like, in line that you're not going to have time to talk about their family drama. You're not going to have time to talk to them about their dog passing away or whatever it is. Everybody has things or like things that are going on in their life. And like Chloe and I are friends. We're good friends. But if we're going to do a coaching call, we're not going to be talking about how our kids are driving us crazy. We're going to be talking about our business and talk about those other things at a later date. And that's okay. I coach some of my really good friends that are in my downline, and they know that when we get on a coaching call, we're not talking about how their kid pooped their pants today. We're talking about where their 500 is and why they haven't recruited anybody in 90 days. The other stuff can be talked about later. And so I feel like really doing that coaching form is what is going to set you up for that. And when I even open up on my team page, or like, I can't even focus because my child is crying. Hold on, let me close this door. when I start my coaching call, I don't start by saying like, how are you doing? I say, how are you feeling about your business? And they talk to me about their business. Even though I have their coaching form and I've read it, I want them to at least like maybe vent a little bit and they can tell me where they're at. And then we go into the things that are on their coaching form, not how are you in life. And I mean, I do care about my team and they know that. But if I'm talking to you on the phone, my time is valuable, their time is valuable. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, I just don't have time to talk to you for 30 minutes about all the other things. You can voice text me and we'll catch up later. But it's just, that's just something that you can't do. Something else that it isn't is talking with no focus. If you don't have the coaching forms filled out and taken care of, I'm not answering your phone call. I'm just not. And I'm not going to call you because you missed our coaching call, especially if you haven't filled out a form. I'm not going to call you in general because that is your appointment to keep. And then another thing that it isn't just texting people and checking in. And that's something that I used to do for a very long time, is I would just text people and check in with them and feel like I was coaching them. That's not me intentionally coaching them, no matter how much I wanted it to be, because I hate talking on the phone. That isn't me coaching them. Chloe, do you have anything to add to like what it isn't?
I mean, I think you pretty much you pretty much nailed it. So the biggest thing I want y'all to understand, I think what a lot of people are doing, and I mean, I even have some of my star consultants, SSCs, and directors that are still doing this. Having a Facebook Messenger group chat or texting someone is not the same thing as a coaching call. It's not. A coaching call is 15 minutes of dedicated time to your business. You have done they have done the homework, aka they have filled out the form, they have submitted it back within 24 hours before the call. Like, this is business. And what's frustrating is that you guys, and I don't mean to like just go in on y'all, but it's just so many of y'all are in this mindset of you can't coach because nobody wants to, when the reality is you may have just started coaching and you expect these people to want to work with you when you've never offered this type of leadership before. And it doesn't work that way. They're going to want to coach with you when they trust you. They see that you're serious about your business, that you're, really working this like a business. You're not just working this in the fall. Like, I think a lot of you guys this fall, because your numbers look better in the fall, you're like, ooh, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to coach. But what you have to understand is this is something that has to start with the one. So posting on your team page, I think I saw Cindy said she posted on her team page and got crickets. Don't do that. Pull numbers, find people that are rock stars, reach out one-on-one to them through text, build a relationship with them, which Chastity will talk about, I'm sure. But I think the biggest thing is understanding a coaching call is not the same thing as having a Facebook Messenger group chat. I don't even understand that, truthfully. If that's the way you're coaching your people, like, I don't understand how that's like dedicated time. And I hate to say that because I know so many of y'all are doing that, but I think that's why you're not seeing the growth you want, because you're not, you know what I mean, like taking the time to coach and work with these people one-on-one. So that's really all I had to add.
And I mean, I can completely understand where Chloe's coming from, because I was like that. Like, straight up, I was not doing coaching calls, guys. And I mean, that's where my business has really exploded, is from making the commitment to do it. And I mean, I think that accountability partners are great, and that's something that you definitely need, but that's not coaching. I have set up some Facebook Messenger groups with people that are like rising to star. Hey, you guys, bounce ideas off of each other, but that's not me one-on-one coaching them. And that's something that I think Cincy as a whole, people are looking at Anchored Sense and wondering why Anchored Sense is producing so many directors, because the people that are producing directors are doing one-on-one coaching calls. And that 110% is the reason why Anchored Sense is producing the amount of directors that they're producing. You may have people that accidentally hit director. You may have people that like I said, just accidentally hit director. But what's going to happen in the spring is they're not going to hit numbers. They're going to go to DQ. They're going to fall to SSC. And sometimes they stay, sometimes they don't. You never really know. It depends on how dedicated they are to their business. But one-on-one is what is going to bring these people to stay, because you're building a relationship with them. Sometimes all these people want is for you to know, or for them like to feel like you care. And we do care. We do, or we wouldn't be doing one-on-one coachings. Because I can tell you right now that there are SSDs that aren't doing coaching calls, that aren't getting paid at title, that aren't earning incentive trips, and it's because they don't care about their people. And in Anchored Sense, we care about our people, and we do one-on-one coaching calls. And Chloe has preached that for the last like 4 years. And it may have taken me a while to get on the bandwagon because I was going through postpartum depression, etc. But the whole reason why we say that these are important is because we know that they work. Katie Lassiter, Ray, Chloe, all of them are doing one-on-one coaching calls, and people want to be like them, but they're not willing to put in that one-on-one work. And that's the thing that really makes a difference. So what a coaching call is, guys, it is showing them how to be successful, meaning leading from the front. And I see Desiree commented, I do mine after the first week so I can get my business together. 110%. That's something that Chloe and I talked about. We don't do coaching calls in the first week of the month because we need to get ourselves together. And that's okay. That's what is expected of a leader. You should be getting your own personal business together before you're coaching someone, because you have no right to coach someone if you don't have a clue where your 500 is going to be coming from. You don't have a right to coach somebody on sponsoring or having parties if you don't have a single party booked. So remember that. And if those are things that you need training on, there are 5,000 videos on YouTube that you can watch, or within any of these team pages. So know that that is something that you have to work on first. Because guys, as a leader, and I feel like if you're on this call right now, you want to be a leader. You have to ask yourself, are you going to level up and do these coaching calls, or are you going to level out when it's not the fall? And that's real life, guys. You're either going to level up with us and do these things even in the spring, even in the fall, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're going through hard times, or you're going to level out, because your business and your team are only going to typically do about 50% of what you're doing. And if you're not doing coaching calls, then your team's not going to do coaching calls because they're learning from you. So you have to remember that it starts from the top. And just like what Cindy said, and I've seen some other people say about they can't get their girls interested. Guys, when I first started coaching calls, it was crickets too. And I was posting on my team page, and Chloe was like, Chastity, you've got to stop doing that. You have got to reach out to people. And I mean, there are times that I may post on my page just because I may have a couple of extra slots this week and I want to know who wants it, and I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I've reached out to my rock stars and told them, I want to get on the phone with you. You're a rock star. These people don't know that they're rock stars, especially when they first join, and they have the most like momentum when you first join. So remember that. The one thing I do want to preach on is that this call is not about like specifically how to do them, because Chloe did AIM years ago, and all of those trainings, I think it's 6 weeks worth of trainings, are on her YouTube channel. And I know that I'll post it once I post the recording of this, I'll post it in the comments. Chloe, I'm sure, will post her link. They are all on YouTube. So not going through and doing the AIM program is something that you're choosing not to do. So if you haven't done that and you're saying that you don't know how to do coaching calls, those things are there for you forever and ever. Amen. So if you need help with that, that's when you listen to those trainings as you're getting ready in the morning, as you're taking a shower, as you're blow drying your hair. Because if you're not training yourself, you're going to eventually, your business is going to die. Okay, so that's something else that I wanted to add in there. Des said, coaching call sounds intimidating. So I said game plan for the month and people were more receptive. Absolutely. You guys, you don't have to call it coaching calls. Call it whatever the heck you want to call it. Like, figure it out, whatever you want to call it. Chloe, do you want to add something in about like what it is? Chloe, I think you muted yourself. There you go.
Am I unmuted? Okay. I think that, and I just hate to be blunt, it's just like we've got to step it up. You know, the fact that some of you guys are saying, well, you know, I'm getting crickets, or people don't want to do them, or like, you know, they don't like the term coaching call. Listen, not everybody likes to work this business like a business. And y'all have to understand that you are literally going to be the ones to mentor these people to understand it is a business. So I even understand if they're saying like coaching calls are intimidating, but have you explained to them what they are? Like, how, you know, like this is something to where you are going to be their coach. We're not their cheerleaders. We love them, but we're not their cheerleaders. And a long time ago, like, I remember just seeing in Cincy, there were all these cheerleaders and other groups, but not like legit mentors. And so that's where AIM is going to teach you through those trainings how to actually identify, build relationships with, and mentor these people. Because like Chastity said, like, you may have crickets right now on your team page, but a lot of you guys do have relatively smaller teams, and you may have never reached out to these people one-on-one. If you really think about it, have you texted some of these people, gotten to know them, like build a relationship with them so they trust you? And also they're looking at you. So if there's some of you that have not been working your business like a business, and you've not been using the 3 legs of success of the stool, meaning you've not had high PRV for months, you've not recruited a lot of people, you've not had like a contagious energy, right? And top leaders, something you'll notice in top leaders in our group especially, their energy is high. Like Chastity's energy is high, Ray's energy is high, Katie's energy is high. I mean, Faith Kayampa's energy is high. When you look at the people that, you know, rock it out, especially in the top 10% of our group, they have a contagious energy, and your team can see that. So I want y'all to understand that you need to get back to the basics, truthfully. And if you think your team is struggling with trusting you, you need to do things like basic things like have team meetings or leaders lunches, or, you know what I mean? Like connecting one-on-one, because if you're finding that they're not wanting to work with you, or they're not being receptive, there's a reason. Like, if you can build belief in somebody and get, like, me and Chastity hate talking on the phone, but like Chastity would coach with me because she trusts me. You know what I mean? Like, people are, I really want you guys to understand that you have to establish a frame of, I'm a business owner, number one. And y'all know, if you haven't been working the business like a business, this is the bottom line. Like, if you know that you are not leading from the front, and you're not booking parties, and you're not recruiting and doing all of these things, you need to put your head down and get to work so your team can see that you're in it to win it, like consistently, like for real. And then when you reach out to these people, I mean, don't call it a coaching call, I guess, like call it whatever you want, but this is 15 minutes of uninterrupted time, and you have to send the form back. So you can call it whatever you want, but this is a business call. Like, this is not where we're going to talk about so-and-so's dog. And like Chastity was saying, and, you know, I used to coach people, and it would be an hour on the phone, and they just wanted to be my friend. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And if y'all are feeling that way, like, you're just quit doing it, because you're wasting a lot of time. But yeah, that's really all I have to add. I mean, I think that everything you said, Chastity, is spot on. I really think y'all need to start with the one. So if you don't have one coaching call set up, that needs to be your goal, is to build trust with 1 or 2 of your rock stars and get them on the phone. And really, you got to lead from the front. Like, my team coaches with me because they know I don't play games. Like, y'all know I don't play. Y'all know Chastity doesn't play. Like, they see me like, y'all don't know half the stuff about my life or what I've been going through. I've worked the entire time, just like Chastity. Like, you've got to show your team that you're in it to win it, and that you are consistently working. And I hate saying this, but it's true. Some of y'all have not been working your business, and now you want to rebuild it, and that's great. And I'm excited for y'all, and me and Chastity want that for y'all. But you got to understand that this takes time. Like, I have one of my directors right now that just started coaching calls, and she's killing it, but she's like so frustrated because she hasn't promoted. And I'm like, well, this takes months and months and months. Like, Chastity when did you really start doing coaching calls, Chastity? January or February?
February.
Yeah. And then she promoted to SSD, y'all. She's always in our top group, TWV. Like it's her and Katie are my top producers, and they both do coaching calls. And Chastity, they probably want you to say a little bit too about like how many you do a month and like that. And like when we do a coaching call again, y'all, when we get off the phone, how we pull people to Chastity. Some people are asking, do we just coach our front line? No, we don't. How you dig down and do all that.
Okay, so like Chloe said, it takes time. And I think I started to talk about how when I first started them, nobody really like responded, but it's changed since then. But just like my leaders lunches, when I first started leaders lunches at the beginning of this year, 2 people would show up. This last month when I did a leaders lunch, I didn't even have enough chairs when I did a reservation for 20. Like more than 25 people ended up showing up. So you have to be consistent, and you have to be okay with people not trusting you yet, because I had sat in a place where I wasn't doing those things for so long that I had to build myself back up. But the only way for me to continue to do that was to continue to do it like consistently, even when people didn't want it. My first month, I think 3 people wanted to coach, but that's okay, because now I have so many people wanting to coach, I can't even get everybody in. My leaders need to be coaching people. And so what I'll say about coaching is, like I said before, I don't do it the first week of the month. And while I'm working, because I'm still working full time, I'm a teacher. I work 8 to 3 per se, but I still have lesson plans. I've got 2 kids. I literally do 4, maybe 5 a week. And that's the max for me, because I have to take care of my personal business as well. During the summer or during breaks, I can take on more, but you need to decide for you. Not for anybody else, not what Chloe's schedule looks like, not what Chastity's schedule looks like. You need to decide for you what works for you and not overwork yourself. Otherwise, you are going to get burnout. Now, I also only schedule coaching calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Why? Because Mondays and Fridays are like my most productive days of the week for my personal business, just because that's the way that I work it. You need to decide for you. And once you set that up, and once you continue to do it that way, your team's going to know. Your team is going to expect that from you. Now, are there times when I'll make an exception? Yes. For my rock stars that are showing up, that are hungry, that have a legitimate reason why they can't coach with me on one of those days after work, not just because, oh, I'm busy. No, we're all freaking busy. We all have things going on, but my team knows that those are my expectations, and they have to meet me halfway. If they are not meeting you halfway, meaning they're not returning the form, and if you don't know what we're talking about when it comes to forms, they're on Leaders in Light, they're on Anchored In, they're everywhere. You need to search them. You need to either download them and email them to people, or make your own Google form. If you don't know how to make a Google form, then you can YouTube that. There's plenty of things out there for that. But if they're not doing that, don't coach with them, because if they're not going to meet you halfway, they don't want it. The people that want it are going to be there and be waiting for that 9 o'clock bell to ring for them to call you, and have questions ready for you if there's other things that they're wanting to talk about. Another thing I'll say about what Chloe has taught me about coaching calls is we always leave them with 3 focuses. And a lot of times I feel like a lot of people feel like they don't know what to coach about because they don't feel like they can bring value to people. Well, guys, you can. And it doesn't matter if you're not even a lead consultant yet. If you've sponsored someone, you are a leader and they are watching you, and you have value to bring to them. Whether you joined yesterday or you joined a year from now and you're watching this recording, you have value to bring to people. And they should be doing those focuses. And most of the time, once people have filled out their form, because of the questions that we're asking, they already know the things that they should be focusing on. They already know. So a lot of times you don't even have to tell them. They know. And they need to be following up with you on those focuses. It's not your job to do all of the work. You need to hold them accountable. And I feel like that's one reason why Anchored Sense is also so successful, is because we're not just giving and giving and giving to these people. They have to give back to us. Because if I'm coaching with someone and and I gave them 3 focuses and they haven't followed up with me, or they haven't completed those focuses, I'm not getting on the phone with them again. I don't care if it's been 5 months and they haven't done those focuses. I'm going to be like, look, homegirl, go back to our text message where I sent you those 3 focuses. And when you can show me that you've worked on those, then we'll get on the phone. But I'm not going to waste my time talking to you about something that we've already talked about, because chances are those things haven't changed. You don't have your 500 in and it's the 27th of the month. I don't really know what to tell you. So those are the things that you need to remember when it comes to that. And I'm also going to share my screen here in a second, and I'm going to show you guys. So Felicia Rhodes created this a while back, and I just kind of made it like work for me. And I'm going to show you before I share my screen where I have mine. So I have this little ring right here, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. I know you can't read it, but it has all the different titles at the top, and it's just laminated front to back, so that when I am going to do a coaching call with someone, if I am like thinking to myself, okay, I looked at their coaching form, what do I need to give them as a focus if they don't know? I have those things already like thought about, and I'm not just having to like come up with it when my kids are screaming in the back seat. And I have that. Okay, so I'll tell you that. I'll share my screen in just a second. Tiffany said, do you text them the focuses or expect them to write them down? So usually, or like I have in my planner, I hope that all of you guys have seen all the forms that we've created, because if you haven't, I don't really know what to tell you. And that's where I'm just going to be really blunt, because it is what it is. But I have my coaching call checklist, and on my checklist, I write down their focuses. Typically, what I do right before I end the call is I'll go over those focuses. I'll say, okay, these are your 3 focuses, and I tell them that. If I feel like there's somebody that's a little flighty and they might forget, then maybe I'll text it to them, but I literally go over it with them and I tell them to write it down as I am writing it down. That's kind of personal preference. But real quick, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys what I have. And I've put this on other pages. I think they were just separate. Now I have it in like one file. So this right here are just some tips. Guys, this is not everything. These are just things that I've sort of came up with. So when you're coaching a brand new consultant from essential to certified, honestly, I really just use my new consultant checklist, because that's what I live and die by. But if it's somebody that maybe has been with us for a long time and they're still not certified, this may be something to come back to, just to make sure you're training them on all of that. And like I said, a lot of this came from Felicia Rhodes. I just kind of made it to where it fit for me. Mason, go find your daddy, please. Okay, go find your daddy. Downstairs. He's like naked, and he's like, oh God, there's all these people looking at me. Okay, anyway, so then certified to lead. So I talked to them about all of these different things. Are there other things? Absolutely, guys. But these are things that I can just like randomly talk to them about. And I can even like see on here, I have join packets. Well, I clearly need to go more in detail about that. I'm obviously going to go more in detail with them about what join packets are, but this is just like a checklist for me to look back to and make sure that I'm going over that with them. Having a dream team list, compensation plan, training yourself, etc. And then it just goes on and on. I'm not going to read all of this to you, because most of you guys that are on here, like, y'all know. And like I've said before, this is not something to live and die by. Add to it if you want to. But if you're just needing ideas and you're not really knowing or feeling like you know the right thing to say to them, here's some ideas. When I say leadership skills, I mean, ask yourself what I mean. Getting 500 in by the 15th. Or way before the 15th, having sponsoring conversations all the time. You can see doing coaching calls, That means completing the AIM program and doing them correctly, not just texting people. And it goes on from star to superstar and then superstar to director. And that's just something that I created for me from what she had, so that it's like right there in front of me in case I'm just having a brain freeze, because trust me, life happens. So, Chloe, anything you want to talk about?
I love that. I love that sheet. I'm sure everybody's like, they need that. I think definitely something all of y'all need to do after this call is, number one, start AIM, and then number two, go ahead and print, cut, laminate those sheets that Chastity just showed when she uploads them or whatever. That way you guys can be ready to go. I think truthfully, like, preparation is important. You cannot, like, I love how Chastity said, like, do the program. Like, do not just wing these coaching calls. When you have to understand too, like when me and Justin made these and made the forms that have the specific questions, we teach you how to dig into those questions and what they mean. Like, we teach you how to focus. And so, saying, oh, you want to do coaching calls, but you don't want to do the program and take the time to wake up 45 minutes earlier a day, honestly, every day this week until you finish it out. Like, that's the choice you make. Like, you can either half-ass it or you can go all in. And the people that are going all in, and that's the thing, people are like, I don't know how to coach. Have you done AIM? Because if you're saying you don't know how to coach, I want to know if you've actually done the program, because if you've done the program and you've listened on how to coach, there's a huge disconnect, and you need to be coached by your upline director, star director, superstar director, because we need to understand, okay, is this you really don't know how to do it, or you're just nervous to do it and you don't have your shit together in your business? If that's the case, please do a coaching call with your upline, because we want to help you guys get on track to doing these. But everybody's going to be nervous at first when you do the calls. I mean, I'm a super introvert as well, and it was like pulling teeth when I even started doing coaching calls. And a lot of the people I would do coaching calls with, they wouldn't do anything, and I would do a call again the next month. So watching AIM, we're going to teach you, like, look, if they don't do their focuses and they're not producing, you don't do another call with them until they complete their focuses. I mean, really, I think that's it, Chas. Like, I don't really know what else we can say. I guess if anybody has questions, they can ask questions. But
yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything else, please ask them. I think a lot of times we just want it so bad for people, and we waste our time worrying about why they don't want to coach with us or whatever we're worrying about. And what we really need to realize is that somebody doesn't have 15 minutes to commit to talk to you on the phone and fill out the coaching call from their workstation. It's not hard. It's literally right there. They should be checking it every day anyway. If they're not willing to do that, it literally takes like 17 minutes between the actual coaching call and filling out the form. If they're not willing to do that, you need to use that energy into finding new people and not worry so much about the people that don't want it, because you're like, that's just a waste of time. And it took me a long time. It took me a really long time to realize that I'm wasting my time on people that don't want it. Bless and release, guys. Bless and release if they don't want it, and you use that energy on finding your next rock star. Because let me tell you, Chloe has told me this from day one. It only takes one person to join your team to completely change your business. One, not 15. It takes one for your business to completely change. And just like Chloe said earlier, the AIM program originally was 6 weeks long. There ain't no reason in the world you need to take 6 weeks to do the AIM program. Literally, you can wake up, just like she said, watch the videos, and be ready to coach by the second week in November, period. Because like we said, we don't coach during the first week, and that's okay. And be ready to coach the second week of November. If you don't know how to do Google Forms, you don't even have to. Chloe's uploaded them in PDF. They can literally respond to you in email. I like Google Forms because it helps me keep track. If you're not technology savvy, it's okay. Start coaching calls without it and add Google Drive in as you can. But just know that, like Chloe said, and like I have said, texting people to check in is 110% okay if you're just checking in, but that's not coaching. That's not something that you're doing intentionally focused. That's something that I'm doing. Okay, I have 15 minutes. Let me text this girl, make sure she's good. That's not coaching them to be a leader. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, do y'all have any questions? Any at all? To be sure, y'all have questions. I mean, coaching is what's going to change your business 100%. Like, you don't promote because you decide to have high PRV. You promote because you build a strong team. And you know, the issue too is with you guys not doing coaching calls, you're missing opportunities to even build connection with your downline. Like, there's some girls on here that are new lead consultants or certified really quickly, and I texted them and started building a relationship immediately with them because, well, now they know this. When I'm eventually going to reach out to them to coach them, but I wanted to identify them, notice, wow, this person's really close to lead and I don't even know them. Like, I've never even had a conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and just text them the promotion form so they know how to do it. I'm gonna just make sure, even though they have an upline, star consultant or whatever, I'm gonna make sure that they're okay. Like, if I can do it with a team of 500, you guys can do it. Like, I promise you, you guys can do it. And when you miss those people, like Jody specifically is on here right now, and I immediately identified her when she was a certified consultant. Guys, when you watch AIM, you're going to learn how to identify people. And also, Katie Laster did a bomb training last week on this. So, like, this is the deal. You guys have to learn how to do this. Like, you can't just leapfrog into being a business owner. You've got to learn. I had to learn. Chastity had to learn. Like, we didn't just wake up like this. We didn't just wake up and we were like, oh, we're superstar directors. Okay, Chloe's retiring. Like, I had a girl the other day who's on my team. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. A certified consultant texting me, and she said, well, I guess I just can't be lucky like you. And I was like, honey, this is not luck. I said, I've worked my ass off. So
I literally probably would have cut her through the phone.
I haven't spoken with her. She texted me today and said she was sorry. I was like, oh, no, you're really going to be sorry because I'm not speaking with you anymore. So, but anyways, like, you have to put your head down, learn how to do the things, and then go do the things. And if you were, like we said, if you're really struggling, please reach out to your upline director. Then if they don't want to coach with you, your star director, and if they don't want to coach with you, one of your SSDs, so we can help you, like, set some really legit expectations and goals for you so you can go out and do it. Because if you're sitting back in your fields, but you know you probably need coaching first and you've never had coaching from any of us, like, that's what we're here for. Like, yeah. That's what your upline directors, SDs, and SSDs are here for. And, you know, you got to learn how to do this. It's a process. You know, like Chastity said, I taught this 3 years ago, and like 5% of my directors did it. And I could have given up and been like, oh, it's crickets. Y'all, how do you think I felt? None of my directors did this program 3 years ago. Even some of y'all saw this program 3 years ago and didn't do it. I could have given up, but I said, I'm going to focus on the one. I'm going to keep focusing on the one. And so you just got to get out of your head everybody that's saying no and focus on the ones that are saying yes.
Amen.
Until you get a yes, you build legit connection and relationship. Girl, I'm so proud of you. I saw that you got active today, or I saw you did 500, or I loved, you know, screenshot what they're doing in their Instagram story and put that on your team page if you're a star consultant. Like, they can see if you legitimately want to get to know them. Like, this is not rocket science. So yeah, I mean, just learn.
Yeah, and just like I've preached to my team, like, people aren't going to buy from you if they don't know, like, and trust you. Your team's not going to coach with you if they don't know, like, and trust you. So just like we teach, or just like we deal with our customers that way, we also have to treat our team that way. And that's why a lot of times, like, I mean, I love my team and I do these things intentionally, but that's why a lot of times we do those, like, engagement posts on our team page, like the one I did, I think it was last night, about if someone broke into the house, like, what would you do? And it's because you get to know people and you build relationships with people, or what someone's first scent was. It all comes down to relationships, and that's when they're going to want to start coaching with you. And just like Chloe said, if I'm your SSD, I know if Katie's your SSD, if Chloe's your SSD, reach out to your director first to coach with them if you're still, like, having questions about it. And I know that all three of us will definitely be willing to talk to you. We're going to ask you if you've done AIM first. We're going to ask you if you've watched this training or the training Katie did last week about pull in leaders. But after that, like, we're okay to coach with you. That's what we're here for. And that's, like Chloe has said this a million times, like, you can't get to star director to SSD alone. You can't do it. You have to build a team. You have to build the people, and the people are going to continue to build your business. And that's what this is all about. Like, I'm about to be able to go buy a brand new washer and dryer because ours is being crazy. And I would never be able to do that just teaching. Just, okay, well, we're going to go to Best Buy tomorrow and buy a washer and dryer. Heck no. That would be like, okay, well, we can go buy a washer and dryer, but we ain't go eat the next month. And that's like what Scentsy can do for you. So just remember, just do it for the one, guys. Like, it's just something that I feel so passionate about, and I just want you guys to go do AIM. You can't just do this based off this call. You cannot just do this based off of the coaching checklist that I am going to share with you if you haven't seen them already. You can't. That's not why I created those. That's not why I did this call. This call is just to reiterate the fact that it's a program that you need to complete first to completely understand, and that you have to get yourself and your business in order first. Don't just go and take my checklist, be like, okay, I'm ready to coach. It's not going to work. And I love you, and I wish that it would, but it's not that easy. It takes a little bit of getting your mess together first. Anyway, if anybody else has any questions, please post them. Chloe, feel free to say anything.
I don't think that there's much that needs to be said. It's just, y'all have so many resources. Like, when I was coming up in this business by myself, right? I was the one, and then I had one team member, and then I started doing calls, like even team calls. Like, when it was just me, I didn't have these resources. And what I think is frustrating to me and to Chastity and even to Katie, I'll speak for her, is when you guys are getting these things thrown on your team pages, our team pages, we're putting these trainings, we're putting the forms, we're putting all this stuff, and you still haven't done it. So at the end of the day, you have to decide if you're going to be in and you're going to do this thing, or if you're just you thought you would come on this call and be inspired by me and Chastity, and you would be like, I got this. Like, motivation is not going to get you to run a business correctly. You have to really, really be like, I'm ready to do this. I'm going to stay up and, like when my kids go to sleep, and package orders so I can wake up early the next day and do a coaching call on the way to work. Like, you've got to decide that you're going to actually take the resources that all of us have put in. Like, we just did a program, I think it was last month. Yeah. Like, for you guys, on how to build the ladder of leadership, like how to climb up the ladder. And even then, like, the people that did it promoted. Like, I know a lot of the people that are in here, like Bonnie promoted. I'm just seeing Bonnie's name. She's been a consultant for a couple years, but she did that program, implemented it, and now she's doing all the things. Like, me and Chastity cannot coach everybody. So I'm going to say that too. Like, I know there's probably people that do want to coach with us. Listen, if we have not had the opportunity to reach down to you or coach you or whatever, and your director doesn't want to coach with you, you've got to just pick up the reins and you've got to just get it together and do it. Okay? Nobody coached me. I didn't really coach Chastity because I didn't know what I was doing the first couple years. Like, we kind of figured it out. And so you guys now have actual resources and trainings on how to do this stuff. So to me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, watch the trainings. And then if you watch the trainings and you watch the training Katie did last week on how to pull your rock stars, how to find people to work with, and you're still confused, then what I would do if I was in your shoes is I would get coaching ASAP from one of my upline, starting with my director. Like, that's what I would do. And, honestly, it's just about, your team has to believe in you, and that's when they're going to want to work with you. Like, my team knows that I show up. I don't play games. Chastity's the same way. Like, good God, like, she's went through hell this week. And when I saw she was doing this training style, I was like, oh my God, let me help you, because I'm not letting you do this alone. Like, you've got to really just put your head down and get to work. And I think that there's like a mental block in a lot of business owners, because with Scentsy, you really do got to do a lot of work. It's not your 9 to 5. This is much different. But the payoff, you guys, I mean, I'm retired. My husband's retired. Our SSDs have big plans. Katie's already left her job. Chastity's on the way. Like, this is real life. But you gotta get ready. Like, this is about a year's worth of dedication just that Chastity's done alone this year. It's almost the end of the year, and she's been working her business every day. So
But
We
you
really
know what, guys? It's 110% paid off. 110%. And if I could just, every bit of SHIT that I have went through has been worth it. And that's what I want you guys to realize, is that even when it feels like you're doing it for no one, you're not. And all of the hard work you're doing right now is going to pay off 6 months from now. But remember, if you sit on your ass and not do anything because it's about to be a lot of people get sad during the holidays or whatever, your business is going to show that 6 months from now. So even when you don't feel like it, guys, I didn't feel like doing anything, nothing. But right before I left for my best friend's funeral, I took all the pictures for my mystery bags and I got them all sold. And I'm going to have my 4,000 PRV that I set the goal for. And that's because I worked all month, not because and it was okay for me to be sad for a couple days. And guys, I'm still sad, but I can't put that kit down. I can't let my leaders down. I've got to make sure that I work every single day. So anyway, I feel like we've preached to y'all enough.
I know. I don't really know like what else we can say, except the bottom line is you have to just decide that you really want to work, and that you are like, and I can't say it in any other way. Some of y'all just aren't working it. You're not working like a business. You're not working the 3 legs. And I'm saying that because if I don't tell you that, you're going to just sit in your like self-pity. And we've got to get it together. You've got to get your PRV up and recruit, and you've got to use all the trainings that are put in front of you. And then you have to watch AIM, and you have to start coaching your people. And, you know, don't be sitting here a year from now, next year, 2020, the end of the year, watching people come back from a top 150 trip, and you didn't go to SFR again next year because you didn't plan for it, and you didn't do all these things. You're going to be right where you are. So do your timeline. I want you guys to do your timeline after this call, meaning from the time you joined every single month up until like, and you can, me and Chastity have uploaded ours, I'm pretty sure. If not, we'll upload ours. But we want you guys to do a timeline of since you've joined Cincy, when you promoted, what your PRV was, like events you went to with Cincy, anything in your timeline. And we want you to see where it's at, your business is at a year from now, implementing systems, having high PRV, and sponsoring 2 to 4 months. Those are the 3 things you have to do. You can't just coach people when you have some shitty PRV. We can't do that. So you can't coach people on how to sponsor in 90 days when you've sponsored 1 person in 90 days, but you think it's funny and you had 2 reinstatements, so it's all good. These are real life situations, and people I've coached that have said this. I'm like, why are you worried about coaching calls when you've sponsored 1 person in 90 days? Not okay. So, you know, I really want you guys to know that we love you. And I don't know why I'm so nervous. My face gets red when I'm nervous, but I haven't done a call in like a month, and I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I need to.
Girl, bye. You just had a baby. You do whatever you want. Don't worry about your face being red.
I just stopped breastfeeding, so it's the struggle up here. But, you know, we want you to be successful. And I know a lot of y'all don't know me and Chastity, but, you know, if we could coach every one of y'all, we would. We just don't physically have the time to do that. And so we want you guys to know, like, you got to just pick up the reins and decide, like, you can do this. You see women in your group. You see us doing it. So know that we believe in you and that you can do this. And it doesn't matter if you've been a consultant for 70 days and you're on here, or if you've been a consultant 3 years. Like, you can always start new. Tomorrow's a new day. So start off your week hard and finish this program by Friday so you can get coached next Monday, and so you can be ready to dive in. Like, it's not going to work just by you deciding that you watch this training, so you're going to think about downloading the forms. I know what y'all are doing. Oh, I'm going to download the forms. No, that's not what you need to do. You don't need to download 1 damn form until you've done the entire training. And then reach out to your upline if you have questions about it. You know what I'm saying? And then you go forward. Like, it's just, we know you can be successful if you do these coaching calls. We know it. It's tried and true. One-on-ones, pep rally combos. I don't care what you call it. But, you know, make them fun too. Like, after I do some of my coaching calls, I'll send them like a glitter bomb or some candy, or, and I'll put like a little promotion. Here's the next steps. All this stuff is on Anchored In and on Chastity's leadership page. We post this stuff. But you guys, for some reason, a lot of y'all are just scrolling by and you're like, oh, I didn't have time to look on Facebook today. Don't even lie. You know you're on Facebook, but you just didn't go to the leadership page because you don't want to deal with it. I said it. You don't want to deal with your business. You don't want to deal with the fact that you know you're not working and it's the end of the month and you're watching your friends promote and you're not. I don't want that to be y'all anymore. Like, we've got to realize, like, this is your time too. You know, anybody can do this thing. But, you know, if y'all need help, let us know. Let your upline know. You know what I'm saying? We want to help you, but you have all the resources out there. So we would love to help you after you've watched the training and after you've watched Katie's training from last week. And then we'll have a conversation with you. You know what I mean?
Miranda, she posted it, and I'm sure that we will post it. There will be it's on Chloe's OG Boss Babes YouTube. It's there.
I'm posting it right now on Anchored In, and I'll post it on Chastity's leadership page.
Yeah, so just make sure that you have that. But like we said, make sure you actually go through and do the training so you understand. And I think that's where some people disconnect. But just remember, guys, anybody can be a leader. Anybody can. But you have to put in the work and you have to work at it. Nobody's just born. Most of us didn't go to school to do this. I know I didn't. I know Chloe didn't. We didn't go to school to do what we're doing here. But we found a way to make ourselves better. Like, we made ourselves a better person by doing all of these things. So Chloe's going to post that. I will repost the checklist, but like we said, we can't preach this enough. Do not just go download those forms or create them on Google without going through AIM. If you did it a long time ago, guys, it's okay to go do a refresher. And one thing that I would actually suggest is, if you are a leader, if you're a star consultant, superstar consultant, or even a new director, go through and do the training with your team. Have like a little accountability group. Go and say, okay, well, today, Monday, tomorrow, we're going to watch week 1, and comment below. Like, if you can post that on her team page from her YouTube channel, comment below your takeaways, comment below your freaking timelines, because if you haven't done a timeline, sometimes they suck because they kick you right in the gut. But that's what you need to realize that you're not as far along as maybe you knew or you wanted to be. And that's okay. So I'm going to challenge all of you guys to go and do that. Refresh yourself if you haven't been doing that. And we just love y'all. Anything else you want to say, Chloe?
Nope. No, just make us proud. We're watching you guys. We really are. Like, I'm not kidding. We're watching, and it's very frustrating when we like see the potential, but y'all just don't do it, dude. And I'm like, earn top 150. Like, quit making excuses. Like Chastity's been saying. There's a SSD in July who said this, and it really stuck with us. Like, when you're going through something, pick your kid up. Like, don't put your kid down, and don't text your upline about always being sad and stuff. Like, I have some people in my downline, and all they do is text me about their struggles. And I'm thinking, why are we still stuck in that struggle? Like, this is 3 years now you've been in this struggle. Like, we want you guys to just really go after your dreams. And, you know, I hate that it's already the end of October and we're in the middle of this incentive, but you can still earn level 2 and level 3 if you get to work. And I mean, yeah, if y'all have questions, I guess just let us know. And Chastity, don't forget to end the recording. That way you can post it.
Yes, doing that right now. All right, y'all. We will talk to y'all later, and I hope this was great. Love y'all.
Bye, guys.